comfortable seat, and you can sit, thank you, Tamara, you can sit on a block if you have it, or you can just sit on your mat. Either way. You can sit on your feet, you can sit cross-legged, whatever works best for you. Restarting over again. Letting your arms rest. Palms can be down or palms can be up. Whatever works better for you. Palms up is usually a sign that you need to be a little more open, and palms down is you need to be a little more grounded. I'm gonna go palms down, kind of a lot happening this morning. From there, sitting up nice and tall, maybe taking a moment to roll your shoulders back, to move your head around, to notice if there's tension in the neck, and then bringing the head right over the shoulders. We'll get started today with just a little bit of grounding by noticing the body. And if you like to do this with your eyes closed, sometimes that helps to just dig in a little bit deeper. And we'll begin by just noticing the body starting from the crown of the head and moving down to the neck and the shoulders. And you're welcome to move these body parts as we go through them. And then down the arms, past the elbows, into the wrists that we use so much in yoga and so much in life, into the hands and the fingers. And then coming back to the torso. And so we'll start with the front of the torso, going down the chest and the front of the ribs, down past the organs, the belly, the pelvis, the hips, and all the way down through the front of the thighs, the quads, past the kneecaps and the shins, down through the ankles and the feet. You might even want to wiggle those toes. And coming up the back body, the bottoms of the feet, noticing then how the ankles feel, how the heels feel, up through the calves and the hamstrings, the glutes, that lower spine. We'll travel up through the spine from the base to the neck. And we'll arrive back to the crown of the head. And just taking your awareness kind of your internal eye a few inches above the crown of your head. See if you can imagine a light purple light. And this might be just kind of a steady light that's that color. It might be kind of a pulsing orb, flashing light or circling light. So just seeing that light purple color, a few inches above the crown of the head. A space of awareness and of connection between yourself and the greater world. And if your mind is wandering away from that, it's fine. You don't need to kind of give yourself a slap on the wrist, but see if you can bring your mind, your attention back to that orb. Just a few more moments here. Finding focus. Maybe starting to settle the nervous system. And then you can let that go and bring your awareness to your breath. Noticing how you're breathing. And we'll officially begin our practice together with 3 rounds of breath. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Open mouth, let it go. Inhale. Exhale, let it go. One more time, inhale. Exhale, let it go. And if that breath felt good, keep it up. In through the nose, out through the mouth, filling up. And then letting go. And if you normally practice with Ujjayi breath, go ahead and find the closed mouth, the constricted throat, and the breath in and out through the nose. And however you're starting to breathe here, setting the stage for your asana, your physical practice, allow yourself to find one word, your intention, to settle into. when you're ready to blink your eyes open and let's start to move. Block can come out of the way, coming to the top of the mat and forward fold. So starting a little bit more unconventionally today. Grab up at the elbows for ragdoll, that easy heavy forward fold. Just allow your body to just shake out. Maybe a few little bounces. Hips can wiggle. This doesn't have to be perfect. There's no right way to do it. You're just finding a heavy fold. And then stillness in the body. Keep the weight in the feet. Hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers and lift your fists up. Notice that your shoulders, your shoulder blades also start to lift, creating more space in the neck. You might want to move your head side to side and front to back. And then from here, chair pose. Keep the hands where they are. Inhale. Sit low and lift the chest. And then exhale, forward fold. 2 more times. Inhale, chair pose with this chest stretch. Exhale, forward fold. 1 more time. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Now you can release the hands, bend the knees, and roll your whole body up. Vertebrae by vertebrae, coming all the way up. When you get to the top, reach up, look up. Palms touch. Hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up, look up. Create space. Exhale, big fold, hinging at the hips. Inhale, half lift. And then step your way back into plank. If you need this to be a forearm plank, that's totally fine. And you could be mobile here, maybe little shifts in the feet, the legs, the wrists. Maybe you're completely still. But just doing what feels good here. If this is your first kind of real movement of the day, you might want to find some movement. Movement in the hips, movement in the knees, in the shoulders. And then we'll all find that stillness, pushing the heels away from the hips, reaching the head away from the shoulders. Take a breath in here. Breath out, down dog, hips high. Inhale, right leg lifts, bend the knee, open the hip. Exhale, step the right foot outside of the right hand. Drop the hips a little bit. You might even want to come onto the fingertips. Pull the heart forward, lift the gaze. And then drop the back knee gently. Pick the back foot up. So you're bending the knee. From here, right arm sweeps back. Maybe you grab the foot, but you don't have to. You can still get that nice quad stretch and shoulder stretch without connection. Take 1 more breath here. Opening towards the right. And then exhale, release the hand and come towards the long side of the mat. Wide-legged forward fold. Toes are facing the long side of the mat. Hands underneath you. And a couple of breaths here. So stretching both hamstrings, stretching the spine long. It's fine if you're really far from the floor with your head. Just let the arms hang. You might want to tip the weight a little bit more into the balls of the feet and then a little bit into the heels. And then next, inhale, half lift. Right hand to the low back, spin the body up. So taking a twist here, hips are still level, opening the chest to the ceiling, opening the elbow to the ceiling. And then release that hand down, crawl yourself to the front of the mat. Setting up your runner's lunge, 1 hand on either side of the right foot, back heel is up, and then from here, high crescent lunge. Chest forward, arms lift. Maybe you sink a little bit deeper into the hips. Keeping the legs where they are, head forward, arms swim back, power lunge. Exhale, lift yourself up, crescent. Again, inhale, power lunge. Find that diagonal shape. Exhale, lift it up 1 more time. Inhale, power lunge. Exhale, crescent. Open out, goddess squat, toes out, heels, and hands to prayer. And just start to shift the hips in whatever ways you want. Again, you can bounce, you can sway. And then from here, star pose. Press into the feet, straighten the arms, straighten the legs. Bring yourself to the back of the mat. Hands frame your left foot. Sweep your left leg up. Bend the knee, open the hip. We'll take those same poses, same sequence to the left side. Step the left foot outside of the left hand. Maybe pop up to the fingertips. Drop the hips a little bit to lift the heart. Maybe you look up. And then drop that back knee all the way to the mat. Pick the back foot up, swim the left arm around, and again, connecting the hand to the foot is not the most important thing here. It's really opening the shoulder and chest and lengthening through the back quads. 1 more breath here. And then exhale. pick up your right foot and walk yourself to the long side of the mat. Hands under the shoulders, 2 breaths this time, same forward fold, lengthening the back, weight in the feet, really lifting the hips high. And then come into your half lift. Keeping the half lift here, left hand to the low back, spin towards the back of the mat and maybe take your gaze up. Exhale, let it go. Crawl yourself to the front of the mat, back of the mat, setting up for high lunge. So get your legs set, get your feet set, reach up. This time head forward, arms forward. Same power lunge, just different arms. And then lift yourself all the way up. So you're using the strength in your core to tip the torso forward, and then using the strength in the core to find your vertical one more time. Inhale, power lunge. Exhale, high lunge. Open out, goddess squat, hands to prayer. Again, little movement in the hips, whatever feels good here. And then we'll turn to face the front of the mat, hands to the mat, around the right foot. Right leg sweeps up, this time step into down dog. Zip the legs together, lift the heels really high, look at your hands, bend the knees, and then either step or push in the hands and half. Inhale, half. Exhale, forward fold. This time, long back to you all the way up. Reach up, look up. Maybe there's a little back bend at the top. Exhale, hands to prayer. Sun salutation 8, 2 times, really simple. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, hands on shins, half lift. Exhale, plant your palm, your vinyasa, your way. If you're newer to yoga, drop the knees as you bend the elbows and come down chest and chin. And then keep your back on small, low cobra, hips down. We'll all meet in down dog. If the feet are apart, bring them together. Inhale, heels as high as you can get them. Look forward, bend the knees. Again, you're stepping or you're hopping forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Once again, stand tall, reach the arms out and up. Maybe a back bend at the top. Hands to prayer. One more sun A like that. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Moving through your flow. And this might look really different than what I'm doing, and that's fine. As long as you're coming from a plank downwards, finding some kind of back bend, and then lifting the hips for down dog. Zip the legs together, heels come nice and high, bend the knees, look forward, walk or float. Inhale, half. Exhale, fold, root to rise, stand all the way up. Palms touch, maybe that little back bend. Exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, chair pose. We've already done this. Feet parallel, sit low. This time, we won't take the arms back. We'll keep them at prayer. Find something to look at in front of you and really think about your ribs pulling in and your belly pulling in. Weight, though, of the hips is still back. And then lift the heels. Steady, steady, steady. And it's okay if you feel wobbly and you need to drop the heels. Take one more breath here. And then lower the heels. Bring the arms up. Sit a little bit lower. And a little bit lower. And a little bit lower. Until you come all the way to the ground. Boat pose. Boat kavi. Feet flat. Hands behind you. Legs up, knees bent, arms forward or legs straight. You get to decide. Deep breath in, lengthen out through the spine. Deep breath out, stay. One more inhale. Exhale. Cross the shins, rock your weight forward, move through your flow. Coming back to that vinyasa in whatever way you like to do it. Moving with that breath. Inhale, right leg sweeps up. Bend the knee, open the hip. Step the right foot outside of the right hand. We'll take the same flow we did a little faster. Come to the fingertips, lower the hips, lift the heart. Come out of the back bend, drop the back knee, find your twist. It might include the hand to foot connection. Exhale, unravel. Walk yourself to the long side of the mat. Prasarita, wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Right hand to the low back. Spin your elbow to the ceiling. And then keep crawling to the front of the mat. High lunge. We will add on some balance here. Head forward, arms back, power lunge. Returning back, high lunge. Hands to prayer, but know that you could have your block or your water bottle here as a safety net if you want it. Start to tip the weight forward. Slide that left foot in. Push down into the right foot and lift the left leg. Long, strong body, really square hips. Notice if this left leg is getting floppy, the more that you push the foot away from the hip and lengthen the leg and strengthen it, the easier the balance. One more breath here. And then one-legged bounce, bend that left knee towards the chest, stand tall, reach the arms up. We'll inhale to open that left leg out. And then exhale, bring it back to the front. 2 more times. Inhale, open the leg out, almost like we're going to tree. Exhale to bring it center. 1 more time. Inhale, open it out. Exhale, bring it forward. Left foot to the mat, hands to the mat. Sweep the right leg up. Give that leg a nice little shake. Step the foot to the mat. Go through your flow. Nice steady breath. Nice steady movement. We'll take the left side facing the front of the mat this time. Left leg lifts. Bend the knee, open the hip. Step the left foot outside of the left hand. Lizard pose, fingertips to the mat, drop the hips, lift the heart. Exhale, lower the back knee. Swim the left arm to maybe meet the right foot. Deep breath in. Breath out, unravel, turn towards your right foot. Still going to the long side of the mat, just the other long side. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Left hand to the low back. Spin the left elbow to the ceiling. Lift the gaze. Exhale, release. Crawl to the front of the mat. Left leg forward, right leg back. High crescent lunge. Power lunge. Keep the arms where they are. Tip the weight forward. And then lift the torso up. Same thing for warrior 3. Hands come to prayer to steady you or to your object. Tip the weight forward. Scooch the right foot in a little bit. Push down into the left foot to lift the right leg. So you're creating length from front to back and from the floor to the ceiling. Take 1 more breath here. One-legged bounce and pull this right knee up. Lift, lift, lift. Inhale, right knee opens out to the right. Exhale, back to center. 2 more times. Just take a little movement in and accept it. 1 more time. Testing that balance. And then right foot to the mat. Left hand and right hand to the mat. Sweep the left leg up. Give it a shake, give it a rattle, give it a roll. Find your down dog move for your flow. And remember that this yoga asana practice is all about moving with breath. So being really intentional with how you're moving. Take 3 breaths, and this is a good time if you want to grab some water or to drop into child's pose to come off of the wrists. This is also a great time to come back to that word that you set as your intention in the beginning of class. So refocusing the mind in the same way we did when we were imagining that light, that purple light above our head. Just allows your mind to be able to single in to something versus being really scattered and thinking about multiple things at once. We've got 1 more breath here. All right, yogis, let's come on back to that down dog shape if you're not already there. This flow, different than the last, we'll walk the hands back to the feet. So taking the weight eventually into the heels. Inhale, half lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, sit low, reach high just for a moment. Push into the feet, stand all the way up. Add the back bend if you want to. And then return mountain pose, arms up to the ceiling. From here, we'll start to cactus the elbows out to the sides. Find your chair pose again. So sitting low. On the inhale, pull your arms back, almost like you're trying to pull them behind your head. Feel the shoulder blades start to squeeze together. And then lift the heels. Belly button and ribs are still in. Your eyes are focused like they were the last time you were here. Take one more breath. And then bring your hands to prayer. Different than before, instead of going low, we'll come high. Pushing the feet, start to stand yourself all the way up. Maybe the heels are still off the ground. And then see if you can slide yourself back into chair. One more time. Inhale, really slow, really steady. Up into your mountain and down into your chair. And if, like me, you lost your balance, it's not a big deal. If your heels are still up, drop them. Arms back, belly to thighs. Take a moment in half chair. Can you reach your fingers away from your shoulders, away from your head? And then push into the feet. Reach up, reach up, reach up. Standing back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, walk yourself out to plank and go through that flow. Chaturanga, or knees, chest, chin, cobra or up dog, opening the front body, ending in that high hip down dog. Right leg lifts. This time, keep the hips square, keep the right leg straight. So think about pushing out through the heel. At the same time, you push into your hands. Keep everything straight, both legs, both arms. Just roll forward until your shoulders are over your wrist. Keep the strength in the arms and that right leg, and then push back up. Three-legged dog. It should feel like a challenge. Inhale, roll forward. Three-legged plank. All limbs are straight, butt is coming down. Exhale, push it up. Three-legged dog. One more time. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Now you can bend your knee, open your hip. If you'd like to flip the dog, drop your left heel to the left. Start to lift your right hand and bring your right foot behind you. Start to tilt the chest towards the ceiling and just let that right arm reach towards the floor. Take one more breath here. Push into your left hand, pull yourself back around, three-legged dog, and step through warrior two. First warrior two of class. Drop your left heel, open out your body, bend into your right knee. Keep the legs really strong, so make sure the right knee is over the ankle. Flip the right palm, inhale, reverse your warrior. Reach up and back, up and back, up and back. Now, keep your upper body the same. Start to straighten your right leg, your front leg, reverse triangle. Take one more breath here. Come back to warrior two. Keep the legs the same, side angle. Right arm can rest on the leg, left arm can go overhead. You might even want to take your right hand lower down. And if you have a binding practice, now's the time. You can start to spin everybody. Your ribs up and back. And if it feels okay for the neck, you're looking up under that left armpit. Keep your upper body the same and just begin to straighten your right leg. Take this top arm so it's directly over the bottom arm, triangle pose. One more breath. Warrior two. Back hand to the hip. Front hand could come towards that blocker water bottle that is set up, or it could stay above the ground. Start to scooch the back foot forward. Push down in the front foot. Lift the back leg, half moon. It's just like warrior three, except the hips are on top of each other rather than beside each other. Same concept though, lifted leg isn't drooping. It's really strong, it's really straight. And you can do whatever you want with your arms and whatever you want with your gaze. One more breath here. And then step to the top of the mat, chair pose, just regular chair. Sit low, reach high. Adding a twist, left arm back, right arm forward. Square yourself off, one-legged mountain, left knee lifts. You've been here before. This time though, left knee comes to the side. Tree pose, it could be at the thigh, the calf, or the ankle. Let's keep the arms up today. Push the foot into the leg, leg into the foot, and see if you can lift your chin up. Lift your eyes up. Feeling really tall, feeling really open. One more breath. And then mountain pose, hands to heart center, grounding to your feet. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, big forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Going through that vinyasa. And if you're starting to get tired of these, you can always skip them, particularly towards the end of class. Maybe just coming right into down dog from your plank. Taking a moment in down dog, can you ground through your hands more? Can you lift your hips a little higher? One more breath in down dog. Okay, left side, left leg lifts. Keeping the hips square this time. Remember, push out through that top foot. Keep everything the same, you're just rolling your body. Slow and steady into plank. Your hips want to come with you, let them come with you. Push into the hands, use your core strength. Three-legged dog. 2 more times, inhale, three-legged plank with straight, strong limbs. Exhale, three-legged dog. 1 more time, inhale. Exhale. Now bend that left knee, open the hip. Remember, you can stay here, or you can draw your right heel to the right. Take your left hand off the mat, bring your left foot behind you. Wherever you are, 1 more breath. And then come on back around, three-legged dog. Step through warrior 2. Again, first warrior 2 on this side. Finding the width in the feet, finding the depth in the hips, arms out really wide. Keeping the shape of the legs, so be really mindful of the feet rooting down. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Left arm reaches overhead, stretching the side waist. Keep the torso as it is. Gradually push through the left foot, straighten that front leg. Take a deep breath in, breath out. Warrior 2. Side angle, keep that left knee bent. Reach towards the front of the mat. Again, you can take a different variation than I am, where all those spinning the ribs up to the ceiling and then down the back. Maybe you start to look up as well. Torso stays the same. Slowly straighten your left leg for triangle. And once you get there, can you stack your arms right over left, top over bottom? 1 more breath here. And then come on back, warrior 2. Finding that half knee balance, right hand to the hip. Left hand starts to reach, maybe for your object, maybe you play with your balance today. Ground your left foot, lift your right foot. So the idea in this half movement is that your chest is facing now the back. Right hip is over left hip, right shoulder is over left shoulder. Again, you can take any arm variation you want to. 1 more breath here. Step to chair pose, top of the mat. Sit low, reach high. Right arm will reach forward, left arm reaches back. Open twist. Square yourself off one-legged mat. Now the right knee is the lifting knee. Open the right knee to the right. Find your tree. High tree, medium tree, low tree. They're all good. Finding what works for you today. Foot and leg pushing inwards so you can lift up from that place of rooting. This time we'll take the arms down. And we'll begin to look down, drop the chin. Stretch the back of the neck. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. 1 more breath, inhale. Exhale. Release that foot, reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold, let it go. Inhale, half lift. Again, move through your flow in the way that feels best for your body today. Once again, we're at that you do what you want to pause in class. It's a natural time to rest, but if you're feeling like there's a lot of energy in the body that you need to get out, don't feel like you have to be in child's pose. Similarly, if you're feeling like you're a little dehydrated, take this opportunity to rest and grab some water. And again, whatever you're doing, restful or active, really great opportunity for the mind to clip in, to zone in to your intention. Or to zone into your breath. Or if you're playing with a pose, that you find challenging to zone into your body so that you can really focus on what you're trying to do physically. One more breath here. Alright, yogis, we'll take into a final sunbeam flow, different than the first two. Make your way to down dog, shake it out, pedal it out as you need to. Zip the legs together, lift the heels high, bend the knees, look forward, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Brief moment in chair, sit low, reach high. And then stand all the way up. Grab the left wrist with the right hand, standing half moon to the right. Pushing through the feet, lengthening through the waist, should feel like a really good side body stretch. Exhale, back to center. Take a moment, get upright, and then switch the grip. Standing half moon to the left, up and over, up and over, up and over. One more breath. Coming back to center. Taking your hands to your low spine. Fingers can face the floor or the ceiling. I find it more comfortable for the floor, but you decide. Start to pull the elbows back, almost like you could squeeze them all the way together. Using the hands, start to push the hips forward. And then think about lifting from your sternum, from your mid-back, from your upper back. Head could release. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more inhale. Exhale, come back to stand. Arms by the sides, palms forward. Chair pose, last round. Hands to prayer, legs all the way together. You can probably guess where we're going. Twisted chair. We'll twist towards the right first. You could choose to not hold your left elbow and let it just hang, or to lower the torso and then find a hold of the left elbow. Wherever you go, watch your knees. It can be really easy for one knee to go forward to the other, but you want your hips to stay really square. It's twist from the torso, not from the hips. One more breath here. And then come on back to center. We're staying in our chair to twist to the other side. You choose whether you're hooking the bottom elbow or not hooking it. Again, peek at the knees. My other knee always wants to pull forward, so I always have to adjust. Maybe that's you too. But just monitoring that. One more breath. Good. Come on back to center. Inhale, standing back and let it all go. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Moving through your flow. One of our last vinyasas for this class today. So maybe you slow it down even more than you have been. Relishing each of the poses, each of the breaths. Inhale, right leg lifts. Nothing fancy, step through high lunge. We'll get to practice our balances one more time. Going right into that warrior three. If the hands up here helps you a lot, try that again. If you want to experiment, maybe the arms go out to the sides or behind you. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Toppling tree. We're going to take this horizontal shape and diagonal it by bringing the chest down and the legs up. Deep breath in. See if you can keep your hands off the ground. Deep breath out. Bend the right knee, step the left foot back, high lunge. Open out, warrior two. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Exhale, going right into that half moon. Left hand to the hip. Slide your body forward. You have your blocks. You're welcome to use them. You have your water bottle. You're welcome to use it. One more breath here. And then rebend the right knee. Step the left foot back. Inhale, reverse triangle. Straighten the front leg. Exhale, side angle. Rebend the right knee. One more time here. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Bringing both hands to the mat. Lift your back heel. Step your right foot to meet your left. Side plank. We'll start simple and then add on. Left hand or elbow to the middle of the mat. Rotate to the pinky side of the left foot. Lift your right arm. Feel free to mod. Left knee down. Wherever you are, start to lift your right leg up.
And then find that tree pose, bending the right knee towards the ceiling. Take one more breath here. And then see if you can keep that tree pose right leg. Bring the right hand to the mat, tree pose plank. It feels weird. Step the right foot to meet the left. Go through your flow. One more side, and then every other pose will be a grounded pose. Inhale, left leg lifts. Nothing fancy, we find our high lunge. Proud and tall. Warrior 3, exhale. Again, any arms you want. Prayer hands helps with stability, but if you're looking for something else, take the arms elsewhere. Toppling tree, that little tip down, right leg higher, chest lower. Take one more breath here. And then bend the left knee, step the right foot back. Open it out, warrior 2. Nice and wide, nice and deep. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, half moon, going into it, right into the hip. Can help you find the shape. Take a breath in. Breath out, soft landing, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse triangle, straighten your left leg as you reach back. Exhale, side angle, bend the left knee again. Any variation you want. Bring both hands to frame the front foot. Step the left foot to meet the right foot pose. Side plank, second side. Right hand or elbow to the middle of the mat. Come to the pinky side of the right foot. Remember, you can drop that knee if you need a little more support, no problem. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, tree pose, left leg. See if you can keep the tree, find your plank. Again, looks kind of weird, feels kind of weird, but really nice way to find stability in the body. Step the left foot to plank, go through your flow. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, slide through half pigeon. Remembering for this, you want your back knee to face the ground. You want to feel pretty even in both hips. You can always put a block or a blanket under your right hip if it's really high off the ground. And if you're staying in this shape, you're welcome to fold. If that shape doesn't feel good for you, it's really painful in, say, your knees or your ankles, come onto the back instead, figure 4. And we're starting to really drop in. The last few poses of class are all really nice, juicy stretches. So if you would like to let go of your ujjayi breath, say, or that really focused breath, now's a good time to start just letting the breath breathe naturally. And noticing what comes up in this pose. For some of us, this is a really intense pose, and it brings up both a lot of physical sensation, but also a lot of emotional sensation. And if that's you, maybe just allowing yourself to feel whatever it is that's bubbling up. And if this isn't super intense for you, that's fine. Maybe it's a great time to drop into your breath or to really come back to that intention, that focus. 2 more breaths. Those of you on your back, make your way however you want to down dog. Those of you in half pigeon, I might recommend that you lift your torso, you prepare your back leg by tucking the toes and lifting the knee, and then take your weight into your hands so you can release your right leg a little more gracefully and just a little more easily on your joints. And then we'll all find the left side, half pigeon or figure 4. Setting yourself up. And maybe not expecting this side to feel exactly like the first side. This might be your tighter hip or your looser hip. And again, half pigeons, you can fold figure 4 on your back. You can use your hands or not. And once again, coming into that space of receptivity, of being open to whatever's coming up.
Just a few more breaths here. After this side, we'll actually meet on our backs. So figure fours, you can just stay on your back and prepare for bridge or wheel. Half pigeons, you may want to come into that down dog the same way we did on the right and then just make your way onto your back. Or you can just lay down. So whenever you're ready to, we'll meet in that setup for bridge or for upward facing bow, which is often known as wheel. And if you're taking that, you want to make sure you can get your hands flat, fingers face your feet. Bridge is great. Arms start by the sides. For all of us, take a check to notice if your knees are parallel and facing up, if your belly is pulling down, and if your feet feel grounded and you know that your toes are pointing forward. Just one bridge or one upward facing bow, 5 breaths. Inhale, lift your hips up. Bridges, if you want to take that chest stretch, that shoulder stretch, you can roll the arms under. Grab your fists or grab your ankles, and we stay and we breathe. Creating length in the front body, not concerned about making necessarily the biggest back bend, but finding the stretch in the hip flexors and the quads and the belly. Supporting the shape with your fullest breath. One more round of breath here. And then everyone slowly come on down with care. And when you get all the way to the mat, feet as wide as your mat, knees knock in together so they're supporting each other. And if this feels good, the stillness stays. Some of you may want to windshield wiper your knees side to side. And then from here, we'll meet in happy baby. So knees go outside of the hips, feet pop up to the ceiling. If it's easier, grab your shins instead of your ankles or feet. And really feel that sense of hands pushing down and feet pushing up. And then maybe you rock and roll a little bit on your spine. Maybe you, in the safety of home, you feel okay making weird noises. And then from here, bring the soles of the feet together over the groin. Take a moment to just pull down on the feet and notice that your low back has started to ground. And then let go of the feet, let them fall to the mat, arms to the sides. And then take one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Let your eyelids get heavy. Deep breath in. Full breath out. You're welcome to stay here for Shavasana or come into the more traditional shape of arms and legs extended. Wherever you are, finding that place of complete and utter rest. There's nothing that you need to do. There's nothing you need to do with your body or your breath or your mind. So you let yourself simmer into that stillness. Gently start to waken the body back up. You can do that in whatever way you want to. Sometimes starting with the smallest parts of the body, the fingers and toes, helps. You might want to rock the head side to side. You may want to stretch the arms and legs really long in opposite directions, creating length in the body once again. And from there, you'll roll onto your side in a fetal position, that place where you get to really tuck into yourself. That place of home that is your body, that is your mind. And take a moment to come back to that intention you set at the beginning of class. And if it feels good for the rest of your day today, keep it. If you need something else, another reminder, another sense of calm or of grounding, then maybe you bring your mind to that word instead. And whenever you're ready to make your way into a comfortable seat, same as the beginning of class, there are really no rules, just as long as you can sit up tall, that's where you want to be. Hands can rest on the legs, palms down, or palms up, or hands in prayer, Anjali Mudra. And we'll finish our practice with one really deep, really slow final breath together. Maybe let your eyelids get heavy, maybe bow your head just a smidge. Deep, full inhale. Big letting go exhale. The light and teacher in me sees and honors virtually the light and teacher in me.